Hello, everybody, and welcome to a breaking news episode of the Elite City Podcast. Mr. Rick, we got a lot going on, and we have a guest. I'm sorry, I forgot already. Biddy is back.
I'm back.
So,
Yes, the return of
friend
Biddy.
of the show.
Thanks for having me.
You are
And it's a
welcome.
big day. It's a good day to be here.
Yeah,
We've got
Yeah,
lots
we're
to talk
throwing
about.
throwing
And-
into the fire.
And most importantly, we're going to talk about how I got tickets to Forbidden Door. That's what we're going to talk
Correct.
about.
That's
That's the main point of the podcast is for me to talk about how I'm going to go to Forbidden Door.
and if you didn't get tickets, how you had a plan to take down Ticketmaster.
Oh yeah,
yourself.
I'm still mad at them. Like I paid 60% of the ticket cost in service charges. This is ridiculous. But anyway,
That is absurd. That is absurd. Anyway, well, first off, congratulations. Go
Thank
to
you.
Forbidden Door.
thank you. Very excited. And now that we
yeah.
know who may not be there,
Very true. And Biddy and myself will be going to Dynamite in a few weeks. So
Very good.
Woo!
we got a
exciting
lot of-
times.
yeah, a lot of live shows coming up.
Yes.
AEW's getting all of our monies.
That's right.
Yes, it is.
That's right.
Yes, it is.
Because if
But it's
if,
worth
if
it.
there's one thing the Khan family needs, it's additional money.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to keep the company afloat. It's failing, so
Miserably,
Us
yes.
throwing money at them will at least keep the lights on for a couple weeks.
That's right.
So anyways, if you haven't heard, the breaking news is CM Punk went bananas on on Instagram.
Yes, he finally
Um,
commented, and what a comment.
Yeah.
And deleted
he-
it as soon as he posted it.
Right.
Like the professionals that we are, we don't even have it queued up. At least I don't.
I do. I
right,
can do.
oh, okay.
I can do a recap of what happened here.
Oh,
So-
perfect.
So, this started, I believe, with Dave Meltzer for some reason breaking news on some message board post instead of
Odd.
his newsletter or podcast. Very weird
Right.
that he decided that I'm gonna just drop this bomb on a reply to some guy on a message board.
Right. Instead of using your website that you make some
Right.
money off of.
Yeah, it's
Right.
very strange. So he wrote, "Do you know why they didn't advertise Punk versus Moxley longer and why it had a short build? Because Punk agreed to it. Then AEW got a legal letter saying he wasn't down with it and wasn't going to do it, and they didn't know if he'd come until Tony put his foot down. There are a lot of nice things I can say about him, and you could absolutely argue his position on Moxley was correct, but you can't argue he willingly did what he was asked in that scenario," which kind of isn't really a great explanation.
Yeah, it sounds like he agreed and then disagreed with himself.
Yeah, it's not Meltzer for a guy whose job it is to write isn't a great writer. So anyway, he wrote that, and then the internet, because it was a thing about CM Punk, the internet
Right.
went nuts.
Exploded. You're
Yeah. Then Punk on Instagram, where he posted, and it was up for I don't know, a minute, because I saw on Twitter that it was, and then I went to his Instagram and it wasn't there. I'm like, oh, maybe someone's lying because it wasn't there. But
okay.
he apparently was up for 2 minutes. So Punk posted an Instagram story. He wrote, "Sigh, I wasn't cleared to come back to wrestle yet. The plan was to wrestle at the pay-per-view. I sat and listened to Moxley's Rocky 3 idea. I explained how I'd never seen a Rocky movie, and I thought the idea sucked. But if the boss wanted me to do it, whatever. He said he wouldn't lose to me. I'd never experienced someone refusing to lose to me. I just laughed. I asked Tony if this is what he wanted. He said yes. He's the boss, so I said okay, but I need to be cleared first. They kept saying it could just be a squash, so I didn't need to be cleared. I scoffed at that. My health is more important." Then he just goes all in. "Dave Meltzer is a liar. Jericho is a liar and a stooge. There were plans, but plans always change, and I'll never put a company above my health ever again." So then
Incredible.
Jericho quickly posted on Instagram just a gif of Matt Hardy saying delete, which I mean, Jericho's kind of a jerk, but that's funny.
Oh, it was hilarious. Excuse me, it was hilarious.
So a lot going on. Neither of them were particularly clear with what they were saying, because Meltzer seemed to say that Punk didn't agree to things, but Punk
Right.
says he did agree to things, but Moxley refused to lose to him, which is also weird because Moxley did lose to him. So it seemed like that was sorted out at some point. I don't know. Before I have a theory, I think I figured it all out, but I'll let you guys talk first.
I just want to say all of this sounds like the same kind of crap I heard about girls going through when I was in high school. It's like high school whiny baby. He said this and I didn't want to do that. Bleh. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, I'm just, these are grown ass adults.
And like successful,
Right.
well, like rich adults. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, experienced, like 40-plus-year-old people. Yeah.
Like having a fit over social media.
Yes.
Like, oh God, we're all doomed.
with like, yeah, like with like Instagram posts they delete and message board posts that they like, yeah, it's all very odd. These are all like grown
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. It's like, get off social media, guys. I think you're, oh my goodness.
But anyway,
See that?
thoughts.
Well, I think it's a work.
Of course, you think it's work, yes.
But everything you just said, I mean, say that out loud. What person that wouldn't be locked in a mental institution that is 40 years old and a millionaire would bring a sick note to work and say, I'm not allowed to play today?
See, I would think that I would agree with you that no, professional 40-year-old person would do that, except that it's wrestling, and wrestling is insane.
Well, that, they all have CTE and are
Right. Like the idea of Mox going, no, you can just lose even though you're not cleared. Like, to most athletes, that's insane, but it's wrestling. Like, I'm pretty sure I think I'm getting the story wrong. Didn't Buddy Rogers, when he was the first WWF champion, didn't he have like a massive heart attack and they still made him wrestle to drop the belt? Like, this is wrestling. Like, it's
I mean,
Austin broke his neck in the middle of a match. Was like, no, I got to finish. Like, it's
Owen fell from the rafters and Vince made the show go.
Yeah, I mean, even recently,
crazy.
Cody's entire chest was like a bruise, and he's like, no, I'm good. Like, yeah, so it's wrestling. So normally, I would agree with you that like this sounds stupid and childish, but wrestlers are stupid and childish.
See, again, I'll play a foul because Tony Khan is the boss. I don't care what anybody says. Well, obviously, he's the boss. He owns the company. He would just pull you aside and be like, shut up, or fire you, or be like, you're making the company look bad. Like, I understand that every bit of any kind of advertisement or press, there you go. Any kind of press is good press, even if it's terrible, obviously. But every time CM Punk opens his mouth, it's terrible press for the company. So if it's not on purpose, why there's no reason for that to be put up with.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that. Biddy, what are your thoughts?
Well, the rumors that he was coming back soon, like, it's only been a couple weeks those have been around, right? And
yeah,
especially after this Dynamite, people were like, ooh, that's really, and wow, of course this is coming out now. So I don't know. Maybe I think it might be a little of A, a little of B.
I think I agree with you. I think that there is some work aspect to it, but I think it was Hogan had a quote once, "Don't work yourself into a shoot." I feel like they're kind of working themselves into a shoot here. They're like, they started off making it a work and then they got actually mad. Or vice versa. Maybe they started off being mad and turned it into a work. I don't know.
I'm almost feeling it that way.
Yeah.
That does make a lot of sense. And like what you said before, Rick, when you texted me, like, and if anybody did anything wrong, it's Meltzer telling the public that,
right,
this was like a private conversation between some people. So that could also be why Punk's annoyed.
Yeah.
If it's real, like, oh, that happened 6 months ago. Now all of a sudden I'm an asshole again.
Right. And like, yeah, why would Meltzer, like, what does Meltzer have to, like, if it was in his newsletter where you'd be like, he hyped it up that, oh, you subscribe to my newsletter, I have new information. Right. Okay, you'd understand. Like, he's trying to sell subscriptions to his newsletter, right? But like, this was just a message board post. So what's the point of him doing this, 6 months later and just throwing it out there? Oh, by the way, Punk had legal notice that he didn't want to lose the match. Like, why? At least for all you say what you want about Sean Ross Sapp, and he's like, he is annoying, but like when he teases stuff, it's to try to get you to sign up for his site. Like, he's trying to make money. Like, like, what's the point of Meltzer doing this? Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's and I don't know. And again, just to what Biddy said of the rumors of him coming back, this all it lines up too perfectly again.
Right.
Like you haven't he has been so quiet. Then last night they block his face off the side of the truck, which or the old trucks that they don't even use anymore. So for some reason they brought the new
Yeah,
trucks in to
I was
just block
thinking
his
that
face out.
if those are still their trucks that they're using, why have they not changed them by now?
Right. Well, someone posted a picture like those are the old trucks. Like there's I forget who's on it, but they like cycled in new people.
Right.
And so they were like, oh, so in other words, they brought one of these trucks to this show to purposely just block his face off so two people on the internet would notice.
Okay, here's the theory I have on that.
Okay.
What if and in my working theory, and when I explain my whole thing, my working theory is this is all Jericho working with Meltzer to try to like undermine everybody who's not him, because I think Jericho's the only one who came out of that press conference looking good.
True. Very
So
true.
I feel like he has something to like that's on purpose. He's trying to make himself like he's trying to use this opportunity to make himself look good. So my theory there is they were thinking of bringing Punk back. Then Jericho was like, "Hey Meltzer, why don't you post this so that people wouldn't want Punk back? Like he's trying to poison the well before anything happens."
Makes a lot of sense.
That's diabolical.
So let me go into my entire theory. Speaking of diabolical,
Okay, let's.
so here's my entire theory. When Punk initially got hurt, when was it? The first time he got hurt, it
Are
was
we
like
talking about his foot?
yeah, when he hurt his
Okay.
foot. When that was like in the
Okay.
summer of last year,
Mhm.
right? So that was like May 2022. So when he initially got hurt, I think Tony Khan probably floated the idea of interim championship and probably said to Mox, "Hey, you're going to be interim champion till Punk comes back." Mox decided or thought either at the beginning or at some point thought, "I don't want to be interim champion. If I'm going to, carry the company, I want to be actual champion."
Right.
So why don't you just have Punk drop the belt to me? He hurt his foot, but like I can roll him up and beat him, and he doesn't have to be cleared for that. Punk disagreed with that. Thought, no, I'm not going to get in the ring if I'm not cleared. So that's where I think like the letter came in. I think it was like a note from his lawyer or a note from his doctor being like he's not going to wrestle if he's not cleared.
Right.
Then I think at some point Mox and Punk worked out something. They worked out a plan, and Tony Khan, they worked out a plan. Okay, Mox is going to be interim champion. Then you're going to come back when you're cleared, and we're going to have a match between the two of you. Right? That's what they worked out. Okay. Mox went with that, decided, I still want to be real champion. I don't like that I carried the belt. And I can understand that from
totally
him.
See it.
Yes. I don't want to carry the belt all summer. Punk comes back, beats me, and it's like that reign never happened, right? Like I can see him wanting to have the title, right? So they worked up the thing that they had where Punk lost in like 2 minutes, and then they did the rematch so that Moxley's reign could officially count. Then the wrestling media got involved, saying that like Punk was mad. I remember Sean Ross Sapp tweeted a thing. Punk was mad in the summer. Punk was mad about his booking and didn't want to show up for Dynamite and et cetera, et cetera. I think that upset Punk, being like, no, me and Mox had an argument or had a thing that we were trying to work something out. And maybe it got heated. Maybe they got mad at each other, but like they worked it out. And then the wrestling media got into like, Punk's mad at John Moxley. He's not going to show up. And Punk was like, well, why are you bringing this up? We sorted it out. That's why he was upset.
Right.
That upset him. He did the match with Mox at All Out, won the belt. If you remember him post press conference, he praised Mox. He was like, "Oh, we had a good match. He's a good worker." Like he didn't say anything bad about John Moxley. I think him and Mox worked out whatever issue they had. And at that point, Punk was mad at the wrestling media, being like, "Why are you stirring up stuff when we sorted this out between the two of us?" He thought someone was leaking this to the media at the time. I think he thought it was like the Bucks and Hangman and Kenny. So that's why he like went all in on them, bashing them for, being unprofessional and not knowing how to run a company, et cetera, because he thought they were leaking this to the media. And now I think he believes it's Jericho, which is why he basically just insulted Jericho. And maybe he's worked things out with the Bucks and Kenny. I don't know. But I think this all stems from they had a disagreement backstage or an argument or a talk or whatever, and it was sorted out, but then that got leaked to the media, and that's what upset him. That like, hey, we solved this. You don't need to come out
Right.
and blame me in the media for no, like, there's no reason for any of this stuff from Meltzer. If people have arguments at time work all the time and
Right.
like resolve it. And clearly they resolved it because he said Mox didn't want to lose to him. Mox did lose to him. He said he didn't want to lose to Mox, and he did lose to Mox. Like, they clearly worked something out. So
Yeah.
it's weird that the media went, but he's also unhappy. Like, who cares if he's unhappy? Like, it doesn't matter, right? And I think that's what upset him.
Boy, he's just always upset, though, isn't he?
He really is. Like, like, he's like a 45-year-old man. Like, he shouldn't be upset by this. Like, he should just like live.
Like,
But
just who cares what they say? They say
Yeah.
all kinds of dumb stuff.
yeah,
And he's a bajillionaire.
Right.
right.
Like, that's the other thing that, like, why does he care that much? What?
And I mean, they do all have egos, right? Why does he care about this? Why does Mox care really if he's not in, like, if he's like, it's not a real belt,
That's true.
right? So like,
It's true.
It doesn't really matter. So like, none of this actually matters. It's wrestling, but like they all have egos, and they all, I don't know. That's my theory on it. I think,
Yeah, that sounds very plausible.
yeah.
Yeah, that.
Well, I
That's
don't
pretty-
blame them if this was all hashed out and they're just like bringing it up just to start stuff again.
Right.
I don't blame him for being annoyed, but it's just like, learn to shut your mouth.
Right. He does need to learn how to shut his mouth. Like,
Just
there's
shut
no, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
if he would just shut up, go do his job, make all of the money, and let all this stupid stuff just, don't even pay attention to it or acknowledge it, he'd be rolling in even more millions and millions.
Right.
But
and he was already the big star. It's not like he was like, oh, the Bucks are overshadowing me. Like, no, when he was there, he was like the top draw. He was their top guy.
But yeah, it just I didn't watch him in WWE. Like, I had not watched wrestling until AEW since like 2001 or something. So
Yeah.
I
You
totally
didn't miss
missed.
much.
I missed all of the Punk stuff, and I was like, why is everyone so jazzed up? And my ex-boyfriend at the time was like, oh, and he kind of showed me things and stuff. I'm like, okay, I get it, I guess. But I had a point. Oh, but since I've read up about how much he was a baby then too, and like how he's always had this, he always is the victim, and that definitely seems to be his MO, is he's always the victim. It's always someone else's fault.
It is weird that they take it. I know it's their like life's work, really, but like, it's weird that they all take it so seriously because it's not
It is
real, right? Like,
I mean, I get it from like taking your profession seriously, especially as someone who also has a profession that some would say, well, certain people in this country and Canada think that people who do my job should probably, go die and burn
Right.
in hell. But
probably.
so I get where it's like you still are a professional and you want to be taken seriously and stuff, but at the same time, like, stop reading all these weirdos on the internet.
it's weirdly, it's a little Bret Hart, because I think I mentioned this to you before, Blasco. There was a story about Bret Hart when he was wrestling like in the 90s against like a house show match against Dino Bravo, and he broke his ribs and was just like, well, I wasn't gonna let him win the match. I had to finish the match. I'm like, no, you didn't. Like, you didn't. You literally didn't.
Right.
It meant nothing. You could have just like Bret Hart. I love Bret Hart, but like, he takes wrestling way too seriously. Like, he really does. Like, he takes, and it's good in the sense that it made him a good wrestler, but also like it drove him nuts, right?
Yeah.
Because it's wrestling. So like, I don't know. It's a fine line, because the reason people like, Bret Hart or CM Punk or John Moxley or whoever are successful is because they care a lot about wrestling.
True. Yes.
But if they care too much, they go insane. So
it totally just dawned on me at this moment. Like, professional wrestling is basically just theater, but they can't see that they're actors. They
Right.
think that they're real.
yeah, it's very weird. Like, I remember when Punk left WWE and he was really upset that he didn't get to main event WrestleMania. In one sense, I get it, but in another sense, like, it's not real.
Right.
So
My mom
Like,
always called it's soap operas for men. Which
yeah,
Yeah.
obviously ladies like it too, but obviously the majority of people that watch it are men, and yeah, it's soap opera with violence.
yeah. They
Yeah.
weirdly, and fans are guilty of it too. They weirdly, because of how it's presented, I guess, they're actors essentially, but
Right.
they treat it like they're athletes. Which I get
Well,
that I get that you
true.
have to be athletic to be a wrestler, but it's not a sport.
They're definitely athletes. There's no doubt about
I
it.
mean,
But
they're
Oh,
in,
100.
but are they not like they're not like competitive athletes. They're not like
no,
football players where like they're in a competitive. It's like a circus act or like gymnastics. Like it requires skill and athletic
Right.
ability, but it's not really a competition.
well, right, because everything's predetermined and
Yeah.
stuff.
Right.
Because I mean, can you imagine these guys if they were actually going to fight to the death and stuff? Like
Right.
John Moxley would have killed someone in 5 seconds, like when he was 20 or something. Like,
Yeah.
It's very weird. You're right that if they just would shut up, like if they literally would just all shut up, like they'd be making money on TV right now.
But see, that's why they're old school. That's why I think it's fake, because that's exactly what they're doing. We're sitting here in our homes right now talking about it, and the show's not even on.
Right.
true.
I mean, and that's exactly like Punk could have picked up his phone today and had like, I don't know, 10 people on the AEW roster on group chat and was like, hey, pay attention to the internet in 3, 2, 1. And
So
then
here's
like
my
just
thing
did
on
it on
that.
purpose.
And I
Here's
wouldn't
my Instagram pipe bomb.
yeah,
Yeah.
here's my thing on that. And because the pipe bomb actually is another example of this. Like he's making AEW look bad with his like tirades. But he
Yes.
also made WWE look bad with his pipe bomb promo. So is it worth the attention to the company? I think it is. Like WWE got a lot of attention when he did that pipe bomb promo. And like he basically said Vince McMahon should die. Right. But
Yeah.
um
Was he that wrong?
no, he wasn't.
Okay, continue.
So is it worth it? I guess it is. Is it worth it to the company to take that shot to like your image, but draw a whole bunch of new people to pay attention to you?
Totally, because in this day and age, it's about views and eyes, and
Right.
like right now, like the AEW Twitter is probably blowing up with
Right.
new subscribers. The YouTube's probably blowing up. There's
People are going to watch that
probably.
show Wednesday night. That's for sure.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah.
Punk's trending on Twitter in the U.S.
Tony Khan was too,
Yeah.
which is weird.
That's another. If you're one to believe it's a work, they have a backstage secret show starting next week.
Oh, I cannot
Oh, there's
wait.
that too.
And then now all this. Oh, remember all the drama that happens in AEW. By the way, if you want to see more of that drama, Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock on TBS.
Yeah. So again, everything lines up too perfectly.
Well, and AEW has already shown that they blurred that stuff so well. I mean, the stuff with Wardlow's
yeah.
car getting broken in, that just
Right.
happened. Like, that actually got on the news, and it was like, psych.
Right. I'm still not sure if that was real or not real. I think it was real, and then they worked it into the story, but like it's entirely. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, that's their thing seems to be like, oh, we're gonna blur reality and the story, and
Right.
you're not gonna know where it is.
And especially since the Warner networks, when they bought, I forget who bought who, but whenever they bought whenever Warner bought the Turner networks, it essentially came out that they didn't want scripted TV; they only wanted reality shows.
Right.
And then AEW decided, hey, you know what's a good reality show, and then just kind of worked that in. Yeah, I don't know. I'm torn.
I think that's the point.
Yeah, I agree. But we're talking about it, so hey.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what are both of your thoughts? Does he come back, or is this him burning the bridge on the way out?
No, 1000% comes back. It's all 100% comes back.
Biddy?
I'm gonna say 75%. Just because if he and Jericho legit have some beef, Jericho's gonna win that fight.
Yeah, I agree. I was 100% like earlier, like after Dynamite aired and they kind of teased it or hinted at it. I was 100% or 90%. Now, I'd say like 70.
Yeah.
Because if there is a legitimate beat, like he can be as mad at the wrestling media as he wants, and I don't think anyone cares. But if he really does have a problem with like Moxley or Jericho, like they're the two bigger names in AEW, and he's not gonna, if they have a legitimate issue with each other, I don't think I don't think he'll win that.
No, not against Jericho. I mean, Jericho's like does all kinds of things for them. I mean,
Though he may have won against Cody. My working theory is Cody and him didn't get along.
I could see where Jericho could probably very easily be abrasive as hell.
Oh yeah, of course, and I'm sure he probably does it on purpose.
Yeah.
But do you honestly think like that was Jericho's biggest gripe about coming up in the business? He hated that the vets would get in the booker's head and squash people. Do you really think he would do that as a veteran though?
Not to the younger
to
talent.
Play devil's. Oh, okay.
Not to like the young. I mean, how many young guys has he put over? I mean,
Right.
Action Andretti. I don't
That's
think
true.
he would do that to the young guys. I think it's the vets with egos that he'd definitely be like, "Oh, you think you have an ego? Check this one out."
Yeah, and I think
That's
he
true.
really
I never
wants to
thought of
be
it
like
that way.
he really wants to be the big name in AEW. Like he wants to be the one who, oh yeah, there's a lot of good wrestlers here, but like he's the big one. He's the big name guy who
He's
came
the
from
name.
WWE.
Yeah.
And if he has to chase out all the other big name guys to get there, maybe he'll do it.
Interesting. Then Jericho becomes the evil person.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
It's all very interesting.
Yeah, I feel like
That's why
Mox.
it's all fake. It's too
Right.
It's
I feel like
you
you're
can't
right.
write this stuff.
Yeah, Rick, I think you're right that he and Mox have nothing. They squash that out and
Yeah.
that's all done and over with. But him like just dragging Jericho in that statement, that's where the beef and new beef, I guess, might be.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
Jericho's been saying stuff about him for months anyway.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff coming out how like Jericho said like
Yeah.
over his dead body, is he coming back? And like, yeah, he's a locker room cancer and a bunch of stuff. So
Yeah. So
The beginning of all this, like whenever the Bucks and that were even suspended, didn't Jericho say this is my damn locker room or something? On
Yeah.
Dynamite too.
yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, now my thinking is it's Jericho and Dave Meltzer. That's what I think it is. And that's not even just because Punk named them in his tirade. I think that independently of that.
Okay.
I like when you mentioned, by the way, I like when we mentioned Punk's tirade. Now I feel like I have to clarify which of Punk's tirades
yeah.
I'm talking about.
True.
Because there's multiple.
Now here's the next question that I'll play devil's advocate again. At what point, as an owner, does Tony Khan? I don't care what you have to say. This is not your locker room. It's mine.
I feel like Tony Khan really likes Jericho.
I agree, but he also likes money, and that's
Right.
what Punk is.
Yeah, I mean, from a business perspective, does it make more like if there is an argument, he has to side with one over the other? Like, as Punk, I think Punk's going to make him more money than Jericho is.
That's right.
For sure.
100%. I mean, everybody already like the JAS is terrible anyway.
Yeah, people are kind of over Jericho as a character.
And Jericho as a character and people are blah. So yeah, CM Punk first and foremost, just in t-shirts, like they're gonna make $1 bajillion.
Yeah.
Wasn't he still like the #1 seller this past year, even though he was not
Yeah.
there for most of it?
Yeah.
And I can't recall a Jericho t-shirt. Like, I honestly can't.
No, who wants that?
Well, yeah. So yeah, there's that aspect of it too. Like, it does come down to just making money. So if it's two grown men in there, two grown middle-aged men, I'm sure Tony Khan would sit them down and be like, okay, well, there's the door, because if you're just going to be babies, use it.
And I feel like part of me thought, oh, maybe Tony Khan doesn't see it, right? Like maybe Jericho is really cool to him and they get along really well. So he doesn't see that like Jericho could be upsetting other people. Like maybe he doesn't see that, but like maybe that's the point of Punk's Instagram post being like, no, he's the reason.
Well, and remember though, Tony Khan is like one of the most gigantic wrestling nerds in the entire world.
Right. Yeah.
Jericho's probably one of his favorites growing up. He's like all of the same age as us, and like,
Yeah,
you know, I'm sure he's just like, yeah, Punk is cool, but Jericho is Jericho, and
Yeah.
that's true.
might sway him a bit more too.
I agree. Yeah, like for
That
all of Tony Khan's business instincts, and I know he is a business person, but like he's also, yeah, you're right, he's the super wrestling nerd.
Yeah.
So like it would be hard not to like be like mark out over it a little bit, being like, I get to hang out with Chris Jericho. Like I remember watching him when I was 20 years old, right?
I employed Chris Jericho. Wow, me.
Yeah.
That's true.
I just wonder if maybe that plays into it a little bit too. And
I could see that.
I don't know. I don't know Tony Khan's total history, but I know Daddy had the money, and then Daddy pulled him into the business stuff. But
right.
like, how much business sense does he actually have? Like, how much is just him being the bank? And I guess he does the bookings, but again, that plays on the wrestling nerd part.
Yeah, you're right. He might know wrestling really well, which I don't doubt that he does.
Right.
But how much does he know about like human resources or something, right?
And
like,
the business and the part, like maybe, he can't get over marking out Jericho to realize that CM Punk is his moneymaker.
Right. And it does seem that he doesn't like to delegate stuff to people. Like in a lot of businesses, you would be like, well, of course he has a HR department who handles all these things, but like maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just feels like he wants to do that himself. Like he does seem to want to do everything himself.
Jobs.
Or just go over the heads of HR or something. But yeah, I just get this feeling from when I've watched him, like in press conferences when he came out when I was in Los Angeles and stuff. Like he's just this big nerd with money and doesn't know quite what he's doing.
I agree with that. Like I think he knows wrestling really well, but I don't know how much he knows about anything else.
Yeah, like I do not doubt his wrestling nerdom, but I don't know about the,
I saw someone say Jim Ross was the talent relations guy in the 90s in WWF, which like if there was a time for like insanity in talent relations, it was the 90s WWF. Shouldn't Tony Khan be like, hey JR, can you just talk to them? Because like I'm sure JR knows how to handle this. He handled like that airplane ride where they almost died. Yeah. So like I feel like he could handle this.
Oh, he totally could handle this. And that's somebody that if it is real, you send someone like JR in because he's just going to tell them he doesn't care that that's CM Punk and Chris Jericho. They
right.
Like
he's not starstruck by any of these guys.
Right. Yeah. He'll just be like, okay, shut up, and you shut up. And now we're here to make money. Shut up.
Yeah, this is a time when Tony Khan does have to utilize people who aren't himself, because even if he's a good business person, which I know nothing about him, but doesn't have the experience in managing a wrestling. I mean, he has 4 years of managing a wrestling company, whereas like JR has 40 years.
And I was just going to say that's another thing. Excuse me, wrestlers all have that the respect mindset. Like I'm not saying that they don't respect Tony, but if Tony tells you to, hey, sit down and relax, like he's the new guy. But like if Sting sat Jericho and CM Punk in a room and said, grow up.
Yeah, I can see someone like Jericho being like, I don't have to listen. Like, yeah, he says to do this, but I've been in wrestling for 40 years. I know what to do. Right. And like, yeah.
The JR comes in, it's just like, shut up and eat some of my barbecue sauce.
Right.
Yeah. He calls Punk Steve Austin because he just gets confused. Yeah.
All right, Steve.
My name is Phil. All right, Steve.
Yeah, it's insanity, but what is if it's real or not. If they actually talk about it on television, it's 100% a work, or at least turned into a work.
I think if they're smart, they'll never talk about it on television, even if it is a work.
Ooh,
or just tease it like they have been.
Yeah, just tease, like they'll never come right out.
Because even that tease just kind of set Twitter and stuff on fire.
Yeah,
well, that's true.
They want to act, even if it is a work, they want to act like it's not. So
Yeah,
what you would do,
yeah.
what you would do if it was like when I can't think of the example right now, but if someone gets MJF, the MJF thing when he it was clearly a work when he told off Tony Khan and then in the microphone and stormed out, like that was clearly a work based on everything we know now. But they smartly acted like it wasn't a work, right? Like they didn't recap it. They didn't put they didn't put it the video of it on the internet. They pretended like it was real.
Yeah, just
right. They pulled them off all the social media stuff.
Yeah, like they would have done if that was a real situation.
Good call.
So I think they might treat it like that.
That makes it even better for me.
Well, again, blurring that what is real and what is,
Right. Yeah, that's a really good. That MJF thing is a really good example of they did work everybody.
Yes. And Biddy, you hit the nail on the head. Like the blurring the lines is what, again, this is what makes this fun. I haven't had this much fun with wrestling in 25 years.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
It's incredible. Like it's new, it's exciting. Like,
and to be able to get this much buzz for your company when like WrestleMania is next week.
There you go. I didn't even realize. There's another thing that adds up to the. Yeah, let's start getting buzz for our company. Yeah. So
how many days long is WrestleMania now? Like, is it like a whole week now?
It's 2, but I think they're 2 very long days.
Jeez.
That was the one good thing that came out of the pandemic is they made it a 2-day show. Because I remember the WrestleMania before COVID, right? The 2019 WrestleMania was like 8 hours long or something.
Oh my gosh!
And it started at like 5 and went until midnight. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like I can't watch this.
I'm too old for that.
The last one me and my buddies watched was because of the pre-show started at 3 p.m. and they thought I was nuts.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's what time the pre-show starts. And they're like, no, it doesn't. I was like, I swear to God, it's.
Can you imagine being in that building though? And they're like, you're here for the next 8 hours.
Yeah.
Let me out.
Like even if the show is amazing, it's 8 hours.
That's 8 hours. I can't watch.
Sitting in a stadium seat.
Yeah.
Right.
Think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's multiple meals. You have to spend like $30 on a hot dog.
Yeah, that's like a work day.
Oh yeah. Wow. At a stadium, man, how much money do they make in one day?
Yeah, like concessions. Yeah, concession sales. You're right. You'd have to eat several times.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You just have to you got a budget for like $300 just to eat.
Yeah, geez, that's wow. Never thought of that.
Yeah, I just remember when it went to 2 days, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. But the 2 days makes more sense than 1 8-hour show.
Right, definitely. But still, like, wow.
And now they get to claim when they sell 60,000 tickets 2 days, they get to claim that 120,000 people saw WrestleMania, even though those were almost entirely the same people twice.
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Everybody buys the package.
Right.
Oh, that would be terrible too. I never thought of that. You have to go to 2 events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man.
It's a whole thing.
All right. So the next question of the CM Punk drama here, we'll throw a question your way now. Is he done? Like today? Or do you think he says something else before the night's done?
Not today. I think he lets this one sit.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Like,
I think he lets it sit to see what the reaction is and see what anyone else says so that he can respond.
Did that go up?
Like 6-ish, I think.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, we're only 3 hours in.
Yeah.
This is still brand new.
Well, hey, you know what? Thanks to CM Punk for his timing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. We will talk about Dynamite, but this is clearly more interesting. Like Dynamite was good, but this is this is clearly a whole thing.
I'm just scrolling Twitter right now. See if
I think he's done for now. I think he's gonna drop it. Like he seems like the kind of guy who like will throw a bomb into a room and walk off and then be like, let's see how they respond.
Yeah.
And just to see what they do. And then maybe like he hasn't said, as far as I know, he hasn't said anything since September, right? About this.
Not about this. I mean, he's been putting little things like a lot of stuff with like FTR and Danhausen, and that's it.
And for some reason, he was randomly responding to like Instagram posts, just being like, I liked this wrestling book, but like just some guy's Instagram, like nobody's like just a post, right? Like he was in the comments, which was, I thought was him kind of like easing his way back in. but then he decided to stop easing his way back in.
He did stopped going slow and was
Yeah.
just
Yeah, just set it on fire.
in the words of Ron Swanson, he doesn't seem to half-ass anything. He whole-asses it.
Yeah, you're right.
That is true.
For good and bad.
Yeah. I mean, if he does come back, that's going to be quite the rating for that show.
It's going to
Oh,
explode.
it's going to explode for sure.
People are going to lose their minds.
Okay,
And-
next
The
question.
media is going to lose their minds.
I know from what I've heard of when Sting debuted, TNT and TBS don't like the surprise debut. They want to be able to promote it
Right.
before it happens. But can you just like at the end of a pay-per-view, because they can do it on pay-per-view because they can do whatever they want on pay-per-view. If his music hit at any point in a pay-per-view, people would absolutely lose it.
Oh, yeah.
There would be
Well,
diarrhea in the seats.
Probably.
And I mean,
Having it
MJF
forbidden-
is the champion, so if you had MJF, I mean,
Oh,
MJF was there with his last when Punk won the title. MJF showed up at the end, so
I'm telling you, he's going to come back at Forbidden Door.
I will like jump off the building.
you will be one of
Signed in
the poopy pants. There.
Yes.
Yeah, signed to New Japan, and that's how like Tony Khan won't do business with CM Punk anymore. So he had to go to another.
That would actually be really cool if that's what they did.
Oh,
Oh wow.
they better do that.
Because
Just 'cause-
my thought before was, they'll have him sign with ROH, but ROH it's obvious that Tony Khan still runs that one, right? So yeah, if he actually went to a different company that they just have a really good relationship with,
Right. And
that would be interesting.
it's
Huh.
very interesting. Oh, come on, let that happen.
That would be really cool, and they could pitch it as real. Like he
Right.
can't work for Tony Khan anymore. He doesn't want to go back to WWE. This is his only choice, and he's never worked in Japan. So yeah, they could do a whole thing with that.
Yeah, I mean, have up like there's an AEW, there's like a New Japan team, and one of the New Japan team, it's like, oh, we're gonna fill this, just like you said, just downplay it. And it's time for that spot, all the place explodes.
That would be amazing. Yeah. I mean, they are childish. They're all childish, right? Like, assuming this is real, all of it's real, right? They're all childish. They're acting like idiots.
Yes.
But they're not dumb, right? Like him and Jericho and the Bucks, and who are like, like they're not dumb, right? So at some point, you have to realize how much money they could make off this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
But then again, he did literally walk out of WWE.
Well, true.
So maybe he doesn't care about that. I don't know. I don't know.
It's being spoon-fed. Okay, everybody is going to do something today, and he's bad, so it's going to be negative. Like, no, it's just this random thing happened that could be real or it could be totally fake, and we don't know, and it's awesome. Like,
I agree.
1000% awesome.
Even if it's not a work, even if it's all real, he's clearly deciding, and everyone else involved in this is clearly deciding when to talk about it and when to throw these things out there, and when they're even if no one else is working along with CM Punk, he's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way things are timing up, I don't know. I think that's convenient.
Yeah,
it is very convenient. It's also very convenient that he got injured in that match with Moxley, knew he'd be out for a while, and rather than give up the title again because of an injury, he got himself suspended so that he couldn't wrestle, so they could take the title off of him without saying, hey, by the way, you got injured again.
And I always gave you credit on saying that, like, maybe he pulled Tony Khan aside for like 10 seconds right before the infamous press conference and was like, hey, whatever I do, just roll with it.
Yeah, I think he might have called it audible, being like, I know my arm is messed up. I know I'm not going to have to wrestle, so I'm just going to do this because it's better than just forfeiting the title again.
And just totally giving Tony like a little heads up, like, hey, it's going to be off the cuff in there, but it's not real. Like, like I'm
Yeah.
just going to go off the handle here. And because even Tony's reaction, like when me and you talked about that when he had his meltdown on post what All Out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Khan he deals with professional athletes all the time in the NFL. Like if somebody was bad mouthing the Jaguars, he would pull the plug out of the microphone so they couldn't talk anymore.
It is
Like,
odd that
he
he
wouldn't
didn't end in
sit.
the press conference. Yeah, I
Yeah, he
agree.
wouldn't sit next to them and shake his head with really wide eyes, going like, "Whoa, yeah, he's kind of right."
It is odd that
Yeah,
he didn't just go, no more questions, and just shut it down. Yeah,
yeah. No, I'm gonna let him talk for another 20 minutes.
right.
But like, I think you're right when he said like Punk knew he was hurt, and he said called the audible and said, "Hey Tony, like, hey, we're gonna go out there, but it's not what we talked about."
Yeah, and I think there is a possibility that if that's what he did, like maybe it was he thought he was working, and he maybe told Tony Khan he was working, but maybe he said stuff that was real and actually upset somebody, right? With like he was like, "I'm gonna be the worst jerk I can be," and like just said offensive things, thinking, "Oh, by the way, I'll go backstage afterwards and tell everyone, hey, I was just kidding," and like they actually got upset.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's entirely possible too.
And
because even the way he was talking at the press conference, like eating while he's talking, like he was purposely being like the most obnoxious person you could be, right? Like
he just kept going, "These muffins." Like
him plugging the muffin place in between, like just destroying people, was legitimately hilarious.
And honestly,
by the way, these guys are useless. This company is terrible. I hate everyone. These muffins, by the way, Mindy's, great place. They're not open on Mondays. But by the way, everyone's terrible. You're all the worst. I remember the name of the muffin place, so it worked.
Yeah.
That's what I was just gonna say. I guarantee that place's business went through the roof. And then MJF just did it with the pickles. So
yeah, I was just gonna say, did it with the pickles.
Yeah.
So
it's fun. It's fun.
It's so fun. That's why we do this. And like literally have fun every week talking.
And well, we should segue. And here's my segue. Well, this is a big mystery. Dynamite opened with a big mystery.
Yes.
Which I liked. I loved the wrestling needs little mystery stories, and I like this one.
It's a great story. Just a heads up, if you hear anything, I'm getting a thunderstorm. So
yeah.
There you go. My mic's gonna pick it up.
Unprofessional. How could you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on a 10-minute tirade about your unprofessionalism.
Nothing like a thunderstorm in Pittsburgh in March.
Right. I was gonna say Biddy's probably getting it too. You can yell at
I got it a little earlier actually.
Oh, nice.
And it like rained like hell, and then it was like over 3 minutes later. I was like, well, all right then.
Well, there you go.
Okay. So the Bucks got attacked.
Yes.
Who do you think did it?
I think it's not the BCC. I think they're alluding to the fact that it's the BCC. I don't think we're going to do we're not going to do Dynamite like segment through segment, right? We're just going to talk. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the BCC. I think they're trying to make you think it's them. I think it's Don Callis, and I don't know who Don Callis didn't do it himself, obviously. I don't know who he is working with.
Takeshita. No.
I thought it might be Takeshita, but they can't make Takeshita bad. Everyone loves Takeshita.
Yeah.
He can't be. He's too lovable.
Well, the internet thinks it could be Ibushi and Takeshita.
All right. So I think Takeshita's too lovable, though. I think he's too. Everyone loves him too much. I think he's one of those guys you can't make a heel because people just won't buy it. He's just too nice of a guy. I refuse to ever dislike Takeshita.
I was just gonna say, like they could have him come out and like kick someone's grandma, and I'd be like, she might have deserved that. I don't know. But,
have we heard Takeshita's side? Because I really want to hear his side of the story first.
Yeah. He's I don't know. So I agree. I think Don Callis is involved, and I think the culprit is going back to the person that we just talked about. I think Don Callis hired CM Punk.
That would be good.
That would be spicy.
Yes.
Well, for that reason. And then he's going to put Kenny on, well, are you going to choose the Bucks or are you going to choose my guy?
Right.
Like, it's just, the rest of the story tells itself.
So is it canon? I don't watch BTE very often. Is it canon that Kenny doesn't watch the show?
Yes.
Because if he had watched the show, he would know all of the stuff. Right. Yes. He doesn't watch Dynamite because he also didn't know that the Bucks allowed Hangman to beat him for the title. Like they nodded their approval.
Right.
So he just doesn't watch the show. All right.
Yes.
Because my thinking was, as soon as that happened last night, when like Don Callis pretended to get knocked down and then blamed Hangman, like all Kenny has to do is just watch Dynamite.
Right.
And realize that that's
watch the YouTube clip of it.
right.
Right. It's he doesn't watch the show. There was something else I was going to say.
I love that. He's an EVP who just has said, I don't watch the show.
It's amazing. Oh, there was something else about that and BTE that tied it all in, but I forget. So anyway.
Was there, it wouldn't be out yet, but I wonder if there's going to be a BTE on Monday because the Bucks got attacked and Brandon went with them.
That's true. Or do you put over QTV and get the scoop on there?
Yeah, that's true. I could see BTE being like in the hospital. I don't know. How would they do it? Because Brandon Cutler went with them. So
right,
he wouldn't be backstage.
Well, someone's got to film them in the hospital.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say Cutler would have his camera. So
that's right.
That does make sense.
Biddy, who do you think did it?
Yeah, who do you think did it, Biddy?
I don't know. I didn't get to see it, so
all right.
I just read about it.
I think it was. I love it. I love wrestling, like mysteries. even the dumb ones, like even the higher power that turned out to be Vince, which was awful. Like
me all along.
The mystery of it was cool. It's just
it was awesome.
It's just when you reveal the person who did it, it better be someone good. Like if this turns out to be QT Marshall, I'm gonna smash my television.
Oh man.
I thought this week's segment of QTV was stupid, but I at least laughed.
I agree with you. I just think why is Hobbs there?
Well, he wasn't this week.
Yeah, but why is he with them? Like,
it makes zero sense.
Them being like cheesy jerks is fine. Like they're not important, but whatever. I don't care. If this was just a segment with QT and Aaron Solo being dumb, that's fine. But yeah, why is Hobbs associated with them?
And the fact that they basically just are internet wrestling fans,
right?
Like whenever Aaron Solo said he hacked into the Observer's Twitter account, and asked someone about the hotels. Was so good. And then
like they're funny.
Breath spray. Oh,
yeah,
so good.
But they're funny. But like, yeah, I don't know why Hobbs is there.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be there.
He doesn't fit in at all. Like they're like nerdy. They're like nerdy jerks, and he's like a tough killer. Like, why is he there? Like he should be out murdering people, not telling stupid jokes and backstage.
Yeah, I agree.
But I like the mystery. I like the ending angle with Hangman stealing an ambulance and for some reason running the siren while he stole the ambulance.
Yeah. That was a thing that like they shouldn't have piped the ambulance sound into the arena because first off, I thought it was somebody debuting and
yeah, I agree.
And then it just kept going. And then I was like, oh, like did someone pull the fire alarm? Like this is just going on way too long. And then they cut to Hangman coming out of the ambulance with the 2x4 with nails in it, which was awesome.
And then he waited for his theme music to play before he hit the ring.
So good.
It was so wrestling. You could see Steve Austin doing that in like 1998.
Oh yeah.
Like stealing a vehicle and driving it up to the arena. Like that. It definitely felt like that. I really liked this felt like a episode, if that makes any sense. Like it started with a mystery and then they continued with the mystery through the show. And then the end had like a kind of a cliffhanger. Like it felt like an episode of a TV show versus where Dynamite usually tries to feel like a sporting event.
That's a great analogy.
And I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was. I loved the show. And everything about the whole Elite was awesome, and how they interwove it through the whole show.
Yeah,
I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was great. And I think what do you think of the BCC just like randomly attacking people? I don't think it's associated with this at all. I think they're just jerks.
Yeah, I think I texted you about it. I said, if I was writing a script like for a movie, Don Callis, that character hit gold by the BCC just kind of getting blamed randomly, and then you
Right.
just roll with it.
Yeah.
And that gives you the extra step, like, oh, okay, I hired somebody, but well, if you think it's them, just let them keep being jerks, and
Right.
take the
My
heat off of
working
me.
theory is they're mad that both Danielson and Moxley tapped out at Revolution, so they're just going to go around being jerks.
There's that.
But you're right. Callis Collie saw that, was like, yeah, let them take the blame. They're going around fighting everybody, so sure, it was them.
There's even the, I texted you, everyone totally forgot about House of Black. I mean, they are in a feud with the Bucks.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So there's House of Black. This could be a tease for Jay White.
Right.
There's just a lot of ways it could go.
Could be Vince McMahon for all we know.
Could be Vince McMahon.
Don't even joke about such things.
How quickly, not that it would ever happen, but if it was Vince McMahon, how quickly till you turned off the TV?
Well, I'd
In
have
disgust.
to take a picture. I'd have to take a picture of it and send it to my buddy Ross. It's just because I'm like, I don't know how it happened, dude, but this just happened. Then I would shut it off.
I'd be like, am I having a fever dream?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Just to hear that stupid speech that he would probably give about how great he is and how he had to buy AEW to prove how awful it was. Like, it would be monumental.
But... yeah, I feel like I would have to watch it for like historical purposes, but like I'd be upset the whole time.
What if CM Punk is really Vince McMahon? That's the
he pulls off a mask and it's Vince McMahon the whole time. Yeah.
Because it was me, Tony. It was me all along.
Well, have you heard the theory that Vince sent Scott Hall and Kevin Nash to WCW to wreck WCW?
I've always said that.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not me just being like the everything's a work guy. Like, that just made too much sense for even them coming out like, oh, Vince said he couldn't pay us what they were paying us. So yeah, why wouldn't he go down there and say, okay, screw it all up? Like, so
going with that theory, did Vince send Jericho to ruin AEW?
Oh,
well, we're at it. Why not?
Wow, talk about a long game.
Dude, that's gnarly.
Because him and Jericho are still on pretty good terms. Like, he was on WWE. He was on Austin's show on WWE Network.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't think it's true. For the record, I don't think it's true.
Oh, I don't think it's true either. But just the fact that you brought that up, like, I was stunned. I didn't even I wasn't functioning there for a minute. That was I didn't even thought of that. That'd be crazy.
And segue, speaking of former WWE people, the Outcasts.
Yes. The Outcasts. What a story.
I love the angle. I have problems with yesterday.
Oh, okay.
My problems with yesterday is I like them. I think they're cool. I think they're getting over really well. It's like since Ruby joined, they've been cooler. Like, she's managed to make them a lot cooler. My problem with yesterday was having Riho and Willow come out, and Riho with the bat. Like, didn't they just do that last week?
Yep.
Yes.
It felt a little bit like, hey, you guys like that last week? Let's do it again. Like, it was not. It should have been something new, in my opinion. Something else should have happened.
I'll take that. I agree, but I think they're trying to set up the women's blood and guts.
Right. So, but then they should have done something new, because they just did that last week.
Agreed. But I think that's why they try to get everybody involved. But yes, they should have done it a different way, or maybe had the outsiders get not total revenge, but run it. Like,
or something. Just do something a little different, so that it wouldn't be exactly the same thing they did last week.
Yeah, because the weapons were even the same, pretty much.
Right. But I liked it. Like, I like the angle. I want to see where it goes.
And freaking Sky Blue, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What? I'm not surprised. I'm slightly surprised that she's being pushed into this, because she's really like pretty green as a wrestler. Mm-hmm. It's a little interesting that this is a pretty main event level angle that they're putting her in, and she hasn't had much on AEW TV until right now. It's good that they are, because I mean they're obviously trying to push her, but I'm a little surprised by it.
And I think she's crushing it. I mean,
yeah, she's doing a good job.
That she did very well in that match, and she looked good in the match.
Yeah. So the Outcasts are going to need another person, at least one or two people. I think Athena probably is a pretty obvious choice.
Yeah. Athena makes sense. And then, I mean, there's a couple people that are on the shelf that would make sense. I mean, Serena Deeb.
Yeah.
Would be awesome. And there's another one, and I totally forgot who it was. She's with Nyla Rose. Marina Shafir. She was in NXT.
Oh yeah, that's true. I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there.
It would have to be someone, who made their name elsewhere first.
They need to get Nyla in on this then.
They really do, because Nyla would do a good job, and she's an original.
She's hilarious too. Like,
she is really funny. Like it's kind of strange she's not on TV more often because she's so good at it.
Well, yeah, and she would just, I mean, she's homegrown. She would just be like, I don't know. I just feel like
she'd do a good job. Yeah, she's good.
She'd be wonderful in this.
She's the one missing out of this.
Yeah, I agree. But then there are too many homegrown, right? If they're gonna have a match, if they're gonna have like a 4-on-4 or 5-on-5, you have Britt and Jamie, Riho, Willow, Sheeta, maybe.
Sheeta. Oh yeah, she's got 5 already right there.
And then I agree with you. I'd involve Nyla. It's a little weird that Jade's not involved.
True.
I don't know, but I like it.
Oh, it's the well, other than this elite angle that really jumped up to 10 last night.
Yeah,
it's the most interesting angle in AEW right now.
I agree. And now they've got two. Now they've got 2 really good angles going with the elite thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a company that is frequently knocked for not telling enough stories.
Oh yeah.
They're telling a lot of stories right now.
Weird. So odd. Oh, I was gonna say something. I can't remember. Oh, we also had a dream match.
Yes.
El Hijo del Vikingo.
Vikingo, I think it is.
Vikingo.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Versus Kenny Omega. I got that one right.
Yes.
Vikingo's name literally translates to the son of the Viking, which his dad was the original Viking in AAA. I did my homework for once.
There you go. Nice job.
Thank you. And he's only 25 years old.
And apparently the rules of physics do not apply to him.
No.
Yeah. There's things that I wrote down here that if you're listening, I can't describe what they are. Just watch the match.
The one that blew my mind was when he was on the ropes and Kenny was down and he jumped off the ropes and then somehow hurricanranaed him.
Like completely reversed.
It went the opposite direction from the way he was going. Like, I don't even know how you do that.
Yeah. I believe that was the implosion hurricanrana.
It doesn't make, like, I watched it, was like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like how you could
forward,
you jump one direction and then you spin the other direction. It's I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, there's also a Dragon Rana, which I had never even heard of before. A Phoenix Splash that made me write "Holy hell!" I can't even explain what that was. You stand on the outside of the ring on the second rope and do a 180 and land back on that rope, and you springboard back into the ring with a half twist. I believe that's what happens.
None of it makes sense to me.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you can't ever forget the step up 630 senton on Omega through a table. Like, I mean, that was a stunt. That wasn't even like a gymnastics move. That was like a stunt,
I will
man.
say, and I think you're both going to get mad at me for this. The match itself was clearly entertaining, very entertaining. The stuff he did was ludicrously it doesn't make sense to me, like I've said, but it did kind of feel like it was Kenny going, okay, he can do this cool move. I'm going to get into a spot for him to do that. Okay, that was awesome. Now I'm going to move and he's going to do that. And like, it was more of like a showcase of what Vikingo can do than a match, which was fine. Like, it was entertaining, but I don't know. To me, it felt like more like, let's watch the 10 moves he can do that are incredible, and not really a match.
Right. And something that takes me out of it, matches like that, and like the Bucks do this all the time, is just how long it'll take to set up to receive a move like that.
Right.
Like
Yes.
Kenny just slowly got on the table and in perfect, position, and then waited for him to set up, and then I'm like, that's a little long.
There were a few times when like Kenny was down and he would like shift his body so that he was
Yes.
like parallel to the ropes, so that like it seemed like he did a lot of setup work
Right.
for these moves. And that's not to take anything away from like their athletic ability. They're clearly both great athletes, but it did seem like it was more of like an exhibition than it was a competitive match.
Right. Like everyone's like, who's that? And they'll be like, well, let us show you.
Right. Yeah.
And flippy flip god gymnastics man just went crazy.
Yeah. And like, I'm not trying to say like he wasn't like I watched it being like, wow, like I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh
excited
yeah,
by
absolutely.
it. But when I heard some people be like, match of the year, no, not match of the year. Like,
Right.
impressive, super impressive, but not match of the year.
No, and that's I guess my little thing with the Bucks a lot is kind of the same thing. It looks cool as hell, don't get me wrong, but it's just, it kind of takes me out of like
I
the
agree.
wrestling moment.
Yeah, I feel like that with them too. There's the setups for like, okay, he's gonna be on the ropes and we're gonna each be on one side of the ropes, and then he's gonna turn backwards, and like, yeah, why would that
Right.
ever happen?
Right.
Exactly.
Really? Right? Like, I agree with
Yeah.
you on that.
Yeah, I see how like I was talking about the Phoenix splash. Like, why would you do a half twist? Like, that doesn't affect the outcome at all.
I love that about wrestling, because like
Right.
your move being flashy doesn't make it hurt more. Like,
Right. Yeah, like meanwhile, like if someone did that in a real fight, he would just get punched in the face after that.
Right.
Like,
I would love to see Moxley against Vikingo, just like him do a bunch of flips and Mox just like slug him.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's the one thing that the lucha style, it doesn't bother me, but I see where it can bother some people. You
And
know,
and it especially bothers like old school wrestling fans. Like my stepdad
Yeah.
is old school, and he's like, I can't get into AEW. There's too much flippy stuff.
right.
and I can see that. Like,
I can see that. And like that again, that's not to say I didn't enjoy the match yesterday. Like, I did. It's just
right.
I had those feelings even while I was watching it. Like, oh, Kenny seems like he's setting up quite an awful lot. And I don't usually feel that way in Kenny Omega matches. Like, he's usually very good at making it seem like even the most ludicrous things he does, like, they seem kind of reasonable.
Right.
Like how he ended up there. But this seemed like he was going out of his way to be like, oh, I know he does this really cool move, so I'm going to make sure I'm in a good spot to take it so it looks really cool.
Right. An exhibition is a great way to put it.
Yeah, that was a good analogy.
But like like the match was like if he was back on AEW, I would watch. It's fun. Like, he's a fun guy to watch.
Yeah,
But that was like my knock on it.
he's supposedly gonna be a free agent by the end of the year.
Have we heard yet about how WWE has shown interest? Because seemingly now, every time AEW has an unsigned guy on, we get a report being like, WWE has shown interest.
And say that just makes me mad, because they would sign them just so AEW couldn't. And
they could have signed them last week, but clearly didn't until
because they didn't know they existed.
Right.
Well, yeah. Why pay for scouting when you can just rip off of AEW?
Right.
True.
Though, to be fair, NXT kind of acted as a development brand for AEW for a while, so I guess
True.
I guess that's fair.
Well, develop.
But that's after WWE let them all go.
That's what I was
True.
just gonna say.
Yes,
Like, what
that's
are you
true.
gonna do? Like, you almost have to take all those people.
Yeah, it's like, well, if you're not going to use them, we sure will.
That's the one argument I'll never understand. Like, AEW does have a big roster, but when people are like, "Oh, they hired too many people," I'm like, "Yeah, but they hired good people. Like, why would you
Yeah.
not?" Like, if Adam Cole is like, "I don't want to sign with NXT," you're not gonna be like, "Well, we already have too many people, so sorry, you
Yeah.
can't come." Right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, you're,
sorry, Swerve and Keith Lee, we don't need you.
Oh, that'd
You
be
hire them,
sick.
and then
What if Swerve is behind the attacking the Bucks?
Ugh.
that would be cool.
I just
It
thought
was
of that.
it
when
was
you said
it was
Swerve's
tattooed
name.
it was tattooed face man all along.
Oh, that'd be ultimate. I'd be all about that. I think I'd be all. If it was him and Satnam saying that's my bread and butter, I'd be all.
Watch it be Jeff Jarrett. Just watch it be
Oh,
Jeff
God.
Jarrett.
I'd be so happy. Oh, that'd be great.
For
We
what
have
it's
come
worth,
full circle.
for what
We
it's
have
worth,
come full circle.
Jeff Jarrett has been pretty good
Totally.
in AEW. Like better than I thought he was going to be.
Yes,
For sure.
I definitely at the beginning was like, I hope the man is not on television. Then he was on television. I was like, and then it's good, and then I can't complain.
Yeah. My only complaint is, like I've said before, it's weird that they weren't on this week. It's weird that him and Jay Lethal are always on.
Yeah.
I think
that's because they were attacking the Bucks.
I think this broke the streak. This broke the Jay Lethal being on every episode streak. I think he wasn't on yesterday. You're right. Maybe it's because he was attacking the Bucks.
Oh, that would be incredible.
That would be so funny if the 1 week they're not on, they're like, well, actually, they were involved.
Yes.
You can't get rid of us.
We're always here.
And the reason that we all thought it was Punk's face covered up on the side of the truck. It's really Jarrett's. he just got new trucks made, and it's just his face real big.
Yes, that would be great.
That'd be amazing.
I would love it. They blame Cole
no.
Carter for it for some reason.
I'm in. I'm all in again. if the gimmick and storyline makes zero sense, I'm on it. It's probably right up my alley, and I will think it's amazing. It's so. In other words, I should probably watch WWE. I probably think it's.
There you go. Most of it doesn't make sense.
I'd probably love it.
There you go. While we're on WWE briefly,
yes,
I have to give Roman Reigns credit for insulting Cody by being like, "You ran away from here as Stardust, formed your own company, couldn't get over there, and ran away from there too." That was really good.
Well, there was a tweet that someone said. Of course, I didn't write it down. It was after Roman Reigns said that he was instantly over more in AEW than he ever was in WWE. He was right.
It was great, and it was odd because, like I think I said to you, it kind of makes WWE look bad because if Cody couldn't win the AEW title, but we can win the WWE title, no problem, right?
Right. Right. It's like, the secondary title is better.
You couldn't be AEW champion, so I guess you could go to WWE and win the Royal Rumble there.
I hope to God they screw him. I think that would be so incredible. They're gonna screw him, and it's gonna be amazing.
Well, here's something I heard online. Someone suggest. Remember his thing with Anthony Ogogo, where he was just like, for some reason, he was Super America Man, and he was the evil British for some reason. They're mad at the Brits, and and everyone hated it, rightly so. Would that have worked in WWE?
They would have tried it for a lot longer.
But would it have gone over? I think it might have gotten over. I think the WWE audience might have been like, USA, and been like all in for it.
Oh, definitely. They would have loved to say that.
I think they might have loved it, whereas AEW was like, this is dumb.
All you have to say is Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I mean, the dude's making a living off that, and that's all he does is yell USA. And
that's my argument, because everyone says, "Oh, Cody's so over now," and he is. Like when he's in WWE, everyone loves him. He's doing a great job. But to say, "Oh, AEW missed out," he was not over in AEW.
No.
And he did really dumb things, like the Anthony Ogogo thing, and
talk about an ego right there, though.
And the gender reveal party with Brandy when they had fireworks and the whole screen was like, "It's a girl. Who cares, Cody? Just have your baby. Shut up.
Yeah.
What are you doing?"
Yes. Well, that was all the setup for the promo the next week when that baby was going to solve everything in the universe's problems.
That's right. And then he lost to Malachi and did that thing where he took off his boots. He's like, "Well, I'm retiring." I'm like, "You lost one match, buddy. Come on."
Yeah.
What? I forgot about that.
He could. I know. I've blocked a lot of that out, but yeah, it's
amazing.
just
he was really bad.
Yeah.
He was.
He could not understand why nobody liked him.
He really couldn't.
doing dumb stuff that nobody likes.
And he just kept doing it, being like,
Yeah.
it's going to get over one day. No, it was never going to get over. It was never going to work.
It just
Like,
got worse and worse. It's so cringy.
yeah. Yeah, cringy's the word for it. It was
Yeah.
just like to the point where the internet started thinking he's playing like a 3D chess game where he wants us to boo him. And like, nope,
Right.
not at all. That wasn't it. He didn't want you to boo him. He thought this was good. And you liked it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It was the high point for me in Cody and AEW is when people threw the weight belt back.
that was outstanding.
That was, I don't know who that person was. That's my hero.
That was the greatest. I could honestly see when that belt went back in the ring, he mean like, you know what, I'm going back to WWE. This isn't working. I'm done.
You're right. That could have been the moment.
At that moment, Vince called him, being like, "So, buddy, what are you up to?"
How's your company going, eh?
Yeah.
Seems like they love you over there.
Oh, that was a great moment.
That was such a great moment because it was one of those, like, of course the crowd popped, but like
Yeah.
the look on Cody's face, it was like a little kid that just like peed their pants by accident. He was so defeated.
It's also when I realized he wasn't doing a like, I'm gonna make you hate me by acting like a sports center. No, that was just he thought it was good, and then at that moment was like, wait, they actually do hate me.
Oh, that was, I mean, that was like Cena level hate.
Yeah, but like even Cena got some cheers. I don't think Cody really by the end.
Oh no, by the end it was 100%.
I saw someone once posted Cody's last entrance in AEW compared to Cody's first entrance coming back to WWE at WrestleMania when he got like super cheered. His last entrance in AEW, like he was booed mercilessly.
It was brutal.
And his last match was against Sammy Guevara, who everyone hates. And they still didn't like Cody.
Yeah.
Well, you got to pick the lesser of two evils, I guess, in that match. And now, like, that was the other thing. Like, Cody did a lot of stupid things on the microphone and everything, but his ring work was always stellar. But people still didn't.
Oh yeah, like no, you couldn't possibly. Like,
Right.
He was just so unlikable as like a person that like you couldn't like him.
It's amazing to me. Like, I just have the feeling they're going to screw him. They're either going to not let him win, or he's going to win, and then Orton's going to come back on that Raw after Mania and somehow challenge him, and Cody's going to lose the belt within like 2 months.
Or they're going to do something where like, oh, you only won one title, you didn't win both because Roman has 2 belts. They'll be like, well, you won the WWE title, but not the Universal. Like they'll do something dumb. Like they have to do something dumb. That like I know it's Triple H and it's not Vince McMahon, but like I have no faith in WWE to not do something really, really
100%.
dumb.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like they'll somehow find a way to screw it up.
Yeah, I agree.
Just while I have both of you on here, before we move on, just a random trivia question. My buddy asked me this the other day. If you could guess the top 5 longest WWF title reigns, and that's your hint, so it's not new.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you a hint. Out of those 5, there's one that's on there twice. Who would you guess the closest person in the era is? Who would you guess number 6 is? That's
after the top 5. Okay, so it's Bruno Sammartino is the longest, right?
Yes, and his reign is over 7,000 days. Let that
What?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that now? Someone being champion for 7,000 days.
Right. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Okay, Hogan's got to be in the top 5.
He is not.
He's not. Is he 6?
No.
It's not. All right.
Mm-mm.
Bruno Sammartino's one. Who else has had long title reigns? Pedro Morales, is he in there?
He is.
All right.
Which that's the one nobody gets. So
yeah,
you're already ahead of the game.
There you go. It's not Iron Sheik. It's not Buddy Rogers. Who did Bruno lose to? Is it whoever Bruno lost to? Ivan Koloff, wasn't it?
No, Ivan Koloff's not on
Why do I know this?
I was gonna say that's,
there.
I was definitely not born yet.
I was not born yet either.
I
Why
was
do I?
gonna
Yeah.
say, this is old
Wait,
school, old school.
Rick, who did you just say? And I said that's the one nobody gets.
Pedro Morales.
Okay, Pedro Morales is number 5
All right.
at 1,027 days.
So it's less than 1,000, right?
Yes.
And it's WWF. It's not like it's not Roman Reigns.
Well, no, it would be WWE.
Okay. Are we counting like the Universal title or just the WWE title?
It would have been just the WWE title.
Okay. It's not Hogan.
No, Hogan is on here.
All right.
But they combined all of Hogan's. That's
Right.
Hogan is the asterisk. Hogan is
Okay.
1,474 days, but his aren't consecutive.
All right.
So Hogan
I
is in the
don't
top
know.
5.
I don't know. I'm going to
be
be upset when I find out who it is. Like, I know the person.
okay. You've got Bob Backlund.
Okay.
A whopping 2,135 days.
All right. I'm upset I didn't get him, but okay.
Hold on, I'm still scrolling. And Bruno Sammartino, since he didn't combine he's over 7,000 days. His longest run was 2,847. Yeah, 2,803. And that was his second run.
I like because Roman Reigns right now with the Universal title, it's like 900 and something. And everyone has been like, he's been champion forever. Whereas like Bruno Sammartino had it for 3 times as long.
I cheated and I looked it up, but Bruno had it for pretty much the entire 70s.
Yes. Yes. Who did we start this podcast off with?
Is it CM Punk?
Yes.
It was 484 days, right?
Yes.
434.
434. Sorry.
430. Yeah. That blows my mind.
I know they did a whole thing where he was like the longest reigning champion of the modern era. So I should have guessed him.
But what blows my mind is look at it seems so minuscule. It's
the problem with Punk when he was champion is he was also not in main events most of the time.
Yeah, he didn't even headline Mania, correct?
Right. Ironically, him and Jericho were at Mania for the title, but not in the main event.
Weird.
Man, Hogan's on this list a few times.
Yeah. And Cena's got to be up there. He's like 300 and something,
7.
right?
He's 7th.
Yeah.
Those guys at the top of the list, those numbers will never be touched.
No.
So, go ahead, Biddy.
I was going to say, I mean, you couldn't do that anymore. I mean, I know you love Jade. I am so tired of her, like her boring reign and stuff. And it's been like, what, a little over a year or so?
My problem with her now is, she's always going to win. I would like her to be in a match where that's why I kind of like the Tyra Valkyrie thing, because you don't I think she's going to win, but I'm not sure.
I'm still bored. It's like, just do it already. Do it so she can move on to something new. Because
she is kind of stuck. Yeah.
It's stale. It's stale as moldy ass bread.
That's why I think they're waiting for Chris Statlander, because she does kind of seem just being like, she's just sitting there like, why is she not involved? And in if this is a sport, right? Like you're classified, why is she not going for the world title?
Exactly.
She's clearly better than everyone. Right. True. And why is no one at the world title level going after her? Like, why is Britt Baker not like, hey, I want to face Jade?
Right.
Yeah, because then it becomes the you break the streak, you're that person.
Right. Because even though it's not the world title, at this point, isn't it a bigger accomplishment to beat Jade?
Yeah, it's just I always see all over like Reddit and stuff, like, I love Jade so much, I hope she never loses, blah blah blah. And I'm like, you just like the way she looks. And yes, she looks amazing. She looks like a superhero.
She does.
She's okay on the mic. I feel like it's kind of the same thing over.
It is kind of the same thing over and over. Yeah.
So I'm like, she needs something new, please.
I think you're right that this is kind of holding her back now.
Yeah. Like, I know she's still not like very experienced and stuff, but having her do the same thing for it's been 9 months. Like, come on, man. I don't know how she isn't like, I'm bored. Let's do something else.
Yeah, I agree. And now my segue once again. Speaking of long undefeated streaks where you're kind of boring and didn't do anything new,
Perfect.
Bill Goldberg is a free agent.
Oh no.
What are your thoughts? What are both? I have controversial thoughts on Bill Goldberg, so you guys can both talk about Bill Goldberg before I get into it.
Mine's one sentence long. He ended Hitman's career. I have nothing to ever say to that man again. Not that I ever spoke to him. But you hurt Brett. You took the Hitman away from us. I don't care, because with his track record, if he comes to AEW for one match, he ends Omega's career somehow with this stupid.
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
That's what, yeah.
no.
With the stupid jackhammer.
I agree with that. He also almost killed The Undertaker.
Exactly.
Do Santa Slay 2 and stay out of AEW.
Here's my controversial thoughts on Bill Goldberg. If, and this is a huge if, because he's Bill Goldberg, if he wants a retirement match and is willing to just lose to somebody, like say he's willing to just lose, like he's fine with it. He just wants a last match, but he's fine with putting somebody over. Okay. If they could have him come in and lose to like Wardlow or Hobbs, I would be all for it.
Oh, yeah, that would rule.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't kill him.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't. That's a huge asterisk that like he could drop someone. He could break someone's neck.
He almost killed people when he was young, and now he's got to be like what 60?
He's like 50 in his late 50s.
Yeah. Like if he couldn't not hurt people back in 2002, then
this would be my fantasy booking of it. Hobbs is with the QTV people.
Okay.
I want him to come out and say, like, I have an open challenge for the TNT title, be met by Goldberg, being like, I want to challenge you. And Hobbs be like, no, you're not. I'm not going to face you. You're a has-been. You're washed up. You're not good enough to wrestle me. Then you could have Goldberg just murder the QTV guys. Like, just destroy, like, Aaron Solo and QT, like, just destroy them. Just because that would be fun. Like, that would be fun. I'm sorry, it would be.
That would be
totally fun. That's totally fun.
And then because he like just destroyed them all, he like earns himself a title shot. But then Hobbs has to just squash. It has to be like a 5-minute match where Hobbs just destroys him. And then he gets to say, I retired Bill Goldberg, and puts himself over. But there's very big asterisks to that, in the sense that Bill Goldberg may not be willing to do that. There's the very real chance that he could kill someone.
I feel like the title of this podcast should be called Ego, because it's
true.
We just keep coming back to the egos of these guys being too big to do stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It's very true. But I think Tony Khan is right when he says, he talked about Bill Goldberg saying that like he's a big name. Like it would draw if they had a Dynamite where it was Hobbs versus Goldberg, like it would get a good rating.
Oh yeah, but then you take the other side of that coin, like. Do you make a huge dream match where if you can sign Bill Goldberg and like Sting for each of their last matches, do you somehow find a stadium somewhere and try to get 100,000?
I wouldn't put Goldberg in the ring with Sting because he may legitimately break his neck. Like
true, but
call it like, the senior citizen match. Hey,
if you could somehow get them together and have it both of their last matches.
Right, not necessarily with each other, right? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, not like against each other, but have like a mega pay. Yeah, no, he'd probably kill Sting. I mean, come on. yeah. I mean, that would be cool, but well, no, it wouldn't be. That'd be terrible.
That's like going out on a big old turd.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, have like, I don't know, just call it like the last. You can't call it the last ride because WWE probably owns that, but just I don't know, call it like the last hurrah, whatever.
Yeah.
And a double main event. One is Sting's last match, and the one's Goldberg's last match.
Yeah, I could. But my only fear with I'm for bringing in Goldberg. My only fear with bringing Goldberg is he does have a lot of baggage tied to him in the sense that fans don't like him. Like especially because of his recent WWE runs where he came in and just won the title. Like, so I feel like if he did sign with AEW, there would be at least a pretty sizable portion of the fan base who'd be really upset.
I'd just be like, why? Or bored. Like, even when I was a kid, I didn't like him. I was like, he's boring.
he did get boring pretty, like, he was cool for a brief period of time, but it didn't last long.
Yeah.
He was the wannabe Austin to me, so.
It was very Ultimate Warrior. where he like came in and looked like a big shot and like beat
Yeah.
Hogan, and everyone thought like he's the new guy, and then like 5 months later, you're like, that guy's he's still doing that. I'm
Yeah.
kind of bored with him now. Like,
Yeah, so I wouldn't touch that with a 50-foot pole.
I wouldn't either.
I can go both ways. I would think about it, but I would honestly be a little scared of alienating a large portion of the audience because people don't like him,
Right.
and he might really hurt someone. Because didn't he concuss himself that match with the Undertaker in Saudi Arabia? He concussed himself on the way to the ring.
Yes, he beat his head off the wall or the door. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
And then he came out and almost broke Undertaker's neck. And like,
yeah, like
though I will say, when he came back against Brock Lesnar, and like I think it was 2016, so now it's been a while ago. When he came and just squashed Brock Lesnar, that was fun. That was cool.
Goldberg.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was fun. I do remember
that was fun. That was
because it was unexpected.
Yeah, so it was fun.
Yeah,
but Goldberg is good in like small doses. You can't. He's not going to rest if his match is more than 3 minutes long. That's a problem. Like
that. Yeah, because he doesn't know anything else. Like he comes in, he kicks you, he does the spear, he does the jackhammer, match is over. I mean, he's not a wrestler.
And when he tried, even when Tony Khan was talking about him, he said, "Oh yeah, Bill Goldberg is a phenomenal professional athlete, not wrestler." He specifically said professional athlete.
There you go. Yeah, because he was never like.
You're right. He tried to wrestle a longer match against Bret Hart and ended up destroying him.
See, when you end a hitman's career, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, Dax and Cash just try to like fight him backstage just because they're mad.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be incredible.
Another segue time.
Okay.
Dax and Cash against the Guns.
Well, we knew this was going to happen. Yeah.
You knew it was going to happen. They're re-signed though, right?
100,000%.
Yeah.
Because
why would they lose and the record scratches on my 100,000?
Yeah.
Just
because my thinking is the Guns already beat them and quote unquote sent them out of AEW, right? Like if their contracts were up, their last match would have been losing to the Guns. They could have just not had them ever come back.
True.
If their contracts like were legitimately up and they were leaving, they could have just not had them ever come back and had the Guns say they drove them out of AEW, and you didn't need to ever have. Why would you bring them back just to have them lose
just
again?
Have them lose. Yeah, exactly. Unless it's a clean win, you bring them back to legitimize the Guns. Play devil's advocate.
Yeah. I'd be upset.
Yeah.
I mean, the Guns are fine, but like
as champs, I'm just like,
they did kind of kill the tag team division.
Oh, totally. They definitely killed the tag team division. It was like the sad part is I like them as like if they would win every match by shenanigans, they're the best heel tag team ever.
Yeah.
But like I just said, with having FTR, if they would beat FTR clean, like I don't see them ever beating anybody clean because
it does feel like they kind of killed the Acclaim. Like, where are the Acclaim now?
Exactly.
It's a little upsetting. I haven't the Acclaim were super over and now they're just gone.
Yeah. And it was supposed to be Acclaimed every Wednesday. Well, they weren't there this week.
Yeah, very weird. Very weird. But FTR is definitely re-signed. There's no way that they would bring them back.
Yeah.
And this is just like playing the internet knows. Dax said their contracts run out in April, so they're again, this is a blurring the lines
right
type situation.
Right. True. It's
do they lose and leave and then come back as like outsiders?
Oh, okay. Now you're or did they lose and go to New Japan?
Yeah, or ROH, I guess, but ROH doesn't seem. That's why Eddie Kingston's thing, where he's like leaving AEW to go to ROH, like it's the same owner.
Yeah,
right.
It's like half the same locker room. I mean,
right. In my mind, I could see him being like, "Well, I'm done with people like Tony Khan and Claudio. I'm leaving." Oh crap, they were here. They work here too. Oh man, I didn't know that. I wasn't paying attention.
See, that made me mad that Tony Khan had to explain that Eddie Kingston didn't quit. Like,
Right.
fans need to let him cry over it until he showed up on
Right.
like
Yeah.
on Ring of Honor. Like,
That
come
was
on,
weird that
people.
he felt a need to have to explain that.
But yeah, and again, unless that was foreshadowing, like, hey, we do this from time to time. But
Yeah, and when we do, we tell you. So yeah, okay.
yeah, so I don't know. It's I just that bothered me because everyone knew Eddie didn't quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pro wrestling. Come on. Uh, anyway, does anyone have anything else?
I don't
Did
think I
we
have
hit
anything.
everything?
I'll give a shout out to Sting, still rocking it at 64.
Yeah, that was fun
That's
too. Him with the sunglasses, and yeah, that was cool.
when he did the Orange Cassidy roll, that was the most
Yeah.
incredible. That was the greatest thing ever.
That had to be so cool for Orange Cassidy to see this living legend, like,
Do
you
all
know.
his moves.
Yeah,
I
like,
That
agree.
was
Yeah, that was. Yeah, he kind of like took. Yeah, that was great.
when Orange Cassidy's face paint. I mean, come on.
With the, just like the barely OC, that was hilarious. Orange Cassidy is hilarious.
He is totally hilarious. That he is. Just a quick question before we go: do you think he'll ever be world champion, Orange Cassidy?
I'm not gonna say no.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's unlikely, but I don't think it's completely out of the question.
Because I mean, he's held. I mean, he could be the first Grand Slam champion if he would, because that's the only title he hasn't held yet. Correct? Oh wait, no, he hasn't been. No, he's been a tag title, right?
He hasn't won the TNT title, has he?
No. When
That
did he
is
win tag? He didn't win tag.
He didn't win tag.
no, he didn't win the tag.
No,
Title.
he's only won one title.
Yeah, this is his first title
That's his first title.
in
Okay.
AEW. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, I was way wrong. I thought he won the. I thought he
You're
won
thinking
the tag
you're
title,
thinking of
but-
you're thinking of Kenny Omega. Different person.
Wait, totally different person. I just thought he had the tag titles, but I'm definitely
he didn't.
wrong. Yeah. Because I was gonna. Never mind. I'm just digging the hole deeper. I personally think he will. That's. I'll say
That would be fun. Like it would be fun.
And I think it would be one of those like. I don't want to say that Mick Foley's championship was not real because none of them are real, but
Right.
like his was like an appreciation championship. Like,
Yeah, I agree. His was like
And
you're over with the crowd and people like you. Yeah.
and I think that's what they would do for Orange. Like, maybe give him like a summer with the belt or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, you put the work in. Everybody here loves you. Like, we're gonna let the crowd go nuts for a few months.
Yeah,
I don't know.
could see it. I could see it.
That is one way I could see it, but I don't really see many other ways.
And on a completely unrelated note, Tony Khan tweeted for Supercard of Honor. He just signed for the AAA Mega Championship, Vikingo against Commander.
Didn't see that coming.
I think they
Oh.
might not. I think they might not touch the ground.
I was just gonna say, like,
this
yeah,
match is taking place in the air above the ring.
Yeah, it's like they're gonna defy physics. That is gonna be unbelievable. When is that for?
Supercard of Honor, the ROH show.
Oh, pay-per-view. Damn it.
Yeah,
I gotta wait 90 days.
yeah,
I'm not buying it twice.
yeah.
I thought about it. And I was like, I could just get it. And then I was like, no, because
You will eventually get it. Yeah.
yeah, I will eventually get it. So they need a streaming service. That's so stupid. It's actually not stupid, but like I don't know. They need a streaming service.
I would love if they had a streaming service for sure.
Yeah, it needs to happen.
It's just I don't know. It's the future. Like they don't need to mess with. I mean, I don't know. Maybe having cable is lucrative. I don't know.
And I know they make lots of money off pay-per-views, but like we're past that now, sort of.
That's what I mean. I don't know anybody that has cable, and I
do.
haven't been able to watch it. Oh, you're so old school.
I am.
I mean, I was watching it with someone else's cable login, and then they got rid of their cable. I'm like, all my people with cable are dwindling. I can't log into TNT now.
If you move to England, this is not a problem.
I know. I need to
Move to England.
move to England.
Yes.
I know, I'm just
Uh,
lazy. And I don't like
I
to pay for things I didn't have to before.
it's I don't know. I would like to find out what the metrics are on streaming as opposed to like a cable deal. Because like obviously cable deal, you're making money via
The company paying you,
commercials.
yeah.
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 But I don't know, like it just seems like views would be more than a sponsor in my I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
and with streaming, you're able to target the commercials so much more. I
That's
mean,
true too.
I
Right.
feel like that might be more lucrative than just basic old cable, here's a commercial for Depends type of
Right. And
thing.
they don't know
Right.
you or what you
Right.
want. Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense too. Yeah.
Agreed.
Interesting.
Before we go, what do we think
Yes.
of Trinity/Naomi saying she's left WWE? Do you think that's gonna happen?
Oh yeah, she's done. She's
But do you think she's
oh,
coming to AEW?
if she wants to wrestle again, I think she will. Uh,
Another outsider
oh, there you
or
go.
outcast, whatever
Yeah,
they're calling them.
that would be cool.
Oh, do 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 the outsider or not outsiders? That's Hall and Nash. Do the outcasts bring in Mercedes?
I mean, in a perfect world, yes.
Okay.
Does anyone know what her deal? I mean, I know New Japan and AEW, share and whatnot, but I would, I would, I would imagine they might have like an exclusive deal or something with her.
I think for a while they probably do. Like
Yeah.
like for like a 6 month or period or whatever, she has to
That's
wrestle
true.
there exclusively.
I mean,
Like I think,
yeah, she's gonna be at Forbidden Door. That's a given.
Oh
right.
yeah.
Yeah. So am I.
So I was gonna
I
say
know.
Just
so
throwing that
Rick.
out there.
Hey,
Just throwing that out there.
did you guys hear Rick's going to Forbidden Door?
Yeah, just in case no one. I haven't told anyone yet, but I'm gonna be there. Pretty excited.
I know. I
It's
said,
gonna be so fun.
we should drive up and go see it with him, and he's like, it's already sold out.
I know. I was
Yeah.
so bummed. Did it
Sold out
officially
really
sell
fast
out
too.
today?
The actual ticket, like the Ticketmaster's pre-sale thing, is really dumb because like it's not actually on sale until tomorrow.
Oh.
But they sold like 13,000 tickets. So
So the Joe Average is going to log in tomorrow and be like, "Oh, there's 3 tickets left. Cool."
right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
So.
I think tomorrow it will officially sell out once they go on sale. Like they probably held back, like 1,000 tickets or something.
Where are they doing it at?
The Leafs building, the Scotiabank Arena.
Dang, that's like that was like what 20,000?
Yeah, it could hold 20,000. I don't know.
Oh, that's for a game. They got to block off a lot of seats.
They have the set. The thinking is it's probably going to be like 15 once because they'll block off some of the like behind the set. They're not going to sell tickets and like.
Damn, just think if they could do it at like where the Jays play or something.
Yeah, I've been talking about this for years. They should come to the Skydome. They have to come.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I went on a vacation when I was 16. It was still called the Skydome. So.
It's the Rogers Center now, but I refuse to call it that.
Okay.
I won't. I've called it. It's been the Rogers Center for like 15 years, but I refuse to call it that.
Well,
I didn't even know that. I've been calling it the Sky Dome since you've been calling it that. So about it all the time. People think I'm an idiot. I'm like, oh man, AEW needs to go to Sky Dome.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together for a long time. I'm like, I wonder where that Sky Dome place is. I toured. I'm like, oh, dumbass, it's the same place.
Yeah, they changed the name.
But
Bad
I feel
idea.
like they could sell that out.
I think they could. I mean, it holds like 40,000 people, but they could.
I don't know. I feel maybe not 40, but I feel like they could probably do 30.
Yeah, I was thinking when they sold out Forbidden Door so quickly, isn't there like I know they want to sell out shows, but isn't there a part of them that's like, oh, we could have got 30,000.
Right.
We could have gone to a bigger building.
Just Toronto is in such a good place for so many people.
Yeah, like it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to travel here from like Chicago or New York or Montreal. Right. Like it's close to a lot of places. Like
that's why I feel like they should have went balls to the wall and tried to do Sky Dome for that.
Yeah.
Well, there's always
next year.
Forbidden Door 3.
Yes.
Oh,
Speaking of going to bigger buildings, there's the Observer shared that they think All Out might be at the United Center instead of whatever other building they usually use in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what a surprise! It's the next pay-per-view, isn't it? Wow.
Ooh.
Gee, I wonder who would be on the card if they wanted to sell tickets to a show in the United Center.
Right. Either Meltzer's an idiot, or or he's in so deep that they trust him enough, and he's like, yeah, I'll be, and he just tweets the stuff out, and people take it for the grain of salt.
Do you think he's been in on it since the beginning? Because it wasn't his tweet what spurred Cody to be like, no, we could sell 10,000 tickets, and started the All In. Because Meltzer, someone tweeted at Meltzer, do you think anyone other than WWE could ever sell 10,000 tickets in the US? And he said no. And then Cody was like, well, we could. Do you think that was all a work?
Saying it out loud now, yeah. Because I mean, it makes too much sense. Like, why wouldn't you have the biggest quote unquote news guy in wrestling say that you couldn't do something, because then of course everybody's going to go against you,
Right.
and it just makes you look that much better to prove him wrong.
Right.
Like I don't know. It's maybe I see everything as a work. I do know that. But also, that was the whole point of the carnival wrestling. The whole thing was a work. The guy in the crowd wasn't a real challenger. It was all work. So
yeah, wasn't
bring it back.
Wasn't it that you said? Wasn't it Memphis or something that had to sign that personal issues make good TV or something like that?
Good TV, yeah. So I mean, of course. And
I mean, what's his name? Jerry Lawler guy, comedian Andy Kaufman. Is going to the WWE Hall of Fame. Going into the WWE Hall of Fame. That was all work.
And he's probably the absolute most deserved celebrity that's in the Hall of Fame. Like,
and I mean, they didn't admit that was a work for 10 years or something. Like until the movie came out, they acted like that was real.
Yes. And Lawler would have taken that to his grave. I mean, they went on national television.
Yeah.
And duped David Letterman. I mean, that's genius.
Right.
But anyways, that's why I think everything's a work all the time. But yeah, 100%. If that's where the next pay-per-view is, guess who comes out at the end of that pay-per-view or in the middle of it? Because why wouldn't they?
Well, I mean, they do Double or Nothing in May, then Forbidden Door in June, and then All Out is September.
Oh, All Out September. Okay.
So if Punk was going to show up in May or June and say he's going to be there in September, you immediately sell all the tickets.
Exactly. I could almost see them like doing it, like building it to the United Center, being like, oh, he's banned, he can't show up, and then of course he does, and people freak out.
Yeah.
I could totally see that angle.
I mean, they sold it out last time on just the possibility of him being there. So,
just to play devil's advocate, what All Out, is it announced yet?
I don't know.
Because I wonder if it'll be like 2 years to the day that he debuted.
No, he debuted in the summer.
Oh, the show was in August.
So this would be September.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot that he did. Yeah, he debuted.
But
in August.
It would be a year to the day, or like All Out was when he last wrestled.
Oh, okay. And the whole thing with the media,
scrum was All Out. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. It really does seem like if it was a work, it would work out perfectly.
Right. And like you always say, whether it started as a work or not, or whether everybody involved didn't even know they were involved at the beginning.
Right.
But yeah, like too much is lining up that now I think we could say, or not, I don't know for sure, but like if you look at it, it really, there's too much coincidence here. I
agree. And I know I keep saying one more thing. This is my very last thing. It's very short. Red, white, and blue ring ropes. What do you think?
I hated them. That's the only thing I noticed on the whole show.
They do draw too much attention to the ropes. I agree. I liked the old school like 80s feel of it, but they do draw too much attention to the ropes.
But I also noticed there's all red ropes in Ring of Honor now, which they basically just AEW ring. So if they're doing it to differentiate, that makes sense.
It's odd that they. I don't know why they did it. It was weird because the ropes were black before, right?
Yes.
It's odd to make them red, white, and blue for one show. I know it was Independence, Missouri. Is that like an American thing? Is that like a big deal? It's called Independence. Is that like a place?
I don't know.
I mean,
it's a place that's in America.
yeah. I mean,
I was like, if there was some sort of specific Americanness to that built like city, maybe that's why they did the red, white, and blue ropes. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
Well, if there is, their marketing department needs to do a better job because
same person runs the website.
I just figured it was called Independence. Maybe it's a thing. I don't know.
No, that
America.
Maybe
if they had it in like I don't know, Freedom, Massachusetts, I'd say that this must have been an American. I don't know what Americans like. They like America.
Budweiser,
America,
Marlboros, Big.
But they don't like Slap Fight enough, or what was it called? What was Slap Fight?
I'd have watched it. If it was called Slap Fight, I'd 1,000% been all in
Fight.
What was it called? Power Slap.
Power Slap.
Yeah. You didn't like Power Slap enough because it's canceled.
Oh.
Because it wasn't sponsored by Budweiser. I told you, if it was sponsored by Budweiser or like the National Hot Rod Association, that would have been the greatest show on American television.
Okay, side note, it is named after the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, there you go.
So
maybe that's why
it was.
Maybe that's why.
Wow, the American education system fails again. Guy from Canada
knows more than the Americans.
who had to Google Independence, Missouri.
There you go.
That you knew Freedom, Massachusetts. I
don't think that's a real place. I just made that up.
It sounded very real. That has to be real.
I was going to say I would not be surprised.
I definitely would not be surprised if you told me it's an actual place. I would believe you.
I mean, if you told me tomorrow a county in like Florida decided to rename itself Freedom County, I would be like, yeah, that sounds like a Florida
I'm sure that's happening soon.
Oh God, I just gave them an idea.
Yeah.
No.
Tomorrow, that's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right.
Freedom, Massachusetts does not exist. Stand on that.
That's a shame.
I had to Google it.
It's a shame.
It sounds like it should.
It really sounds like it should. You're letting me down as a nation. We have a place called Moose Jaw, so you have to have a place called Freedom.
Yeah, but see, the things in Canada, you have things that are like named really cool, awesome words, and we're like, like Moose Jaw. Like,
I played a game with my friend. Yeah, I played a game the other day with my friend that's from Phoenix. And I was showing her towns in Pennsylvania, and I was like, "How do you think you pronounce this?"
Oh yeah, your Pennsylvania confuses me for sure.
It's all they call North for sale. North, they call it spelled Versailles, but it's North for sales.
Sales, yes.
That's when I can't.
The town I live in, Belle Vernon, is French for beautiful green. And
there you go.
I do believe we didn't even put it in, like, I think we did it like phonetically.
Oh, like it's not spelled right?
Yeah. Like it's
nice.
I think we spell is Belle, but we spelled like we Americanized whatever green is. Like it's Vernon. I know that's not how you say green, and
no, green is
vert.
V-E-R-T.
Yeah, that's yeah, so we're not even really technically a beautiful green. We Americanized it.
You're like a beautiful guy named Vernon.
Exactly, we're beautiful Vern. North for sales bothers me too, and so does Zelianople. Because it should be Zenelope.
Zelianople.
Yeah, because you don't pronounce Penelope. But
yeah, well, my Phoenix friend. She was calling Conneaut like Conneaut or something like that. I was like, no, honey, it's Conneaut.
Little
Pennsylvania place names at the end of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
and our podcast with.
Yes. Any final notes other than weird places in
No. Jeff Jarrett's touring Canada, bringing AEW to Canada more, so I'm happy about that. So that's all I've got.
Rick gets to go to Forbidden Door.
That's right.
Rick, if you haven't heard, breaking news, Rick's
going
to Forbidden Door. Anyways, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Biddy, for joining us.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thanks. This is fun.
Thanks.
It was very fun.
It was a little unorthodox podcast, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, a lot happened like literally 9 seconds before we were deciding to start. So we kind of changed it up a little bit. Uh, well, again, thank you, Biddy. It was fun. Uh, Follow us at Elite City Pod on all your social media networks. Um, at Elite City Pod everywhere. We are on everything. I'm not going to name them. I forget the website. Rick.
EliteCityPod.wordpress.com.
.wordpress. There it
I
is.
should I should really just shell out
Just,
for a
just
shell
use
out for a
Lord
domain.
Google. Just use Lord Google, guys. Come
Right.
on.
Search for Elite City Pod and we're there.
There you
Yeah,
go. We
you
can
can
do
find
that.
all of
And
it.
see, Biddy, thank you.
That's why you're here.
Wrapping
That's
it
why
all
you're
up
here.
perfectly. Yes. Just Google it. And that's
Yep.
Yes.
we'll end on that. Just Google it. All right, everybody. Thank you. And until next week. Later.